this. The first Z06 in Wichita, Kansas, I believe. Unless this is a fake badge. It's not a fake badge, right?
It is not. No, sir. How you doing? My name's Chris from Eddie Chevy. How you doing?
Tyler, nice to meet you.
Well.
Wow,
hey,
so...
It's Hooey.
Chris? Chris and Chris?
We are
Yeah,
both
we
Chris.
make it easy.
Okay, well, how's it going?
Good, man, good.
So, the new Z06.
New Z06.
Is it available?
It is, but it's
is.
going to cost you a little bit more than that Hoopty Escalade you bought last week.
Well, okay, how much is it?
You know, like 150 something.
$150,000?
Yeah.
Nobody is paying that much for a Corvette, a new Corvette. I mean, this is the everyman sports car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no way.
It's like a Ferrari.
You're gonna be sitting on this thing for a very long time.
I bet you I sell it today.
Well, you're gonna have to show me the invoice. The economy's going in the toilet. I mean, you really have to help me out.
Okay. Let's get you the invoice.
Can you throw anything else in?
It does come with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
Yep. Does come with one of those.
A lifetime powertrain warranty on a first-year flat plane crank from Chevrolet.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. and it comes with a free tank of gas.
We have some negotiation to do, but I imagine if I pass on it, it'll be here next week and you'll sell it to me cheaper. But let's go see what we can do. I guess I should test drive it before we start negotiating here. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a Ferrari copy. I have to think about it. Now, obviously I bought this thing, so let's get it home back in the garage and I'll talk about how I stumbled in to the first Z06 delivery in Kansas. Okay, welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, and this is my latest purchase, a 2023 Corvette Z06 that I bought completely by accident, even though this is about the hardest car to buy in the world right now, which is hard to believe because, well, it's a Corvette. Obviously, this model, the mid-engine Corvette, came out in 2020, and now the Z06 is here with an incredible engine under the hood, 5.5-liter V8, flat-plane crank, 670 horsepower, 0 to 60 around 2.5 seconds. They reverse-engineered a Ferrari 458, supposedly, and built this, and it is absolutely incredible. So, obviously, there has been a big fight among YouTubers on who was getting a Z06, who wasn't. A lot of people didn't get them because GM accepted 10% of accepted orders because of plant restrictions. But somehow I got one. And why? Well, it's because of that Cadillac Escalade right there. And no, I am not lying. A few weeks ago, I was shopping on Facebook Marketplace for Mercedes to give away in my Christmas special, which if you haven't caught that, please do because it is very, very fun. But while I was shopping for Mercedes, I found this Escalade, which was traded in at a Chevrolet Cadillac store that I happened to have worked at 15 years ago. It had since changed ownership, and I bought it for only $8,500. I hadn't been in the store in many years, certainly since it changed ownership, and was blown away with the inventory they had in there. I mean, parked next to this was a GT3 with a manual transmission, the new 992. They have an R8, a Huracan, an Aventador, so much amazing exotic stuff. You'd really need to check out their website, which I'll have linked below. And a few of them recognize me from my YouTube videos. I guess this is where my YouTube clout came in just a little bit, but it's mostly dumb luck. They invited me back to make a video on any car I want. I did that electric Hummer, as you saw, compared to the Ford Lightning. And while I was there, he mentioned that there was some Z06 allocations that he was building. Chris, the sales manager, told me that he got 4 Z06 allocations for the year, which is a lot for his size of store, but apparently because all the ones that he sold were 3LTs, because he didn't take orders, he built them with the highest options, because with options you make money. That's why he got so many Z06s. He sold 3 immediately at $50,000 over sticker, but then saved the first one, this, for some special occasion, but he hadn't figured it out yet. And I was interested, obviously. Fireworks were going off in my head because this is the hardest car to get. They may only make 300 this year because of plant restrictions. That few cars, absolutely insane. So fireworks going off in my head, but $50,000 markup, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, so I asked, and they said, oh, no, we wouldn't mark it up near that much for you, and well, I said yes. But not only that, I traded in my GT500 to make it more attractive so they can make a little money there, hopefully. I did actually get to own that car for a year and sell it for a little above its MSRP, and I paid a little bit below. So that was very nice and made it much easier to get into this with a very, very spicy sticker. But it is missing a few things like the Z07 package that everybody wants. But once again, 3% of Z06's total sold have the Z07 option, but you can get a lot of it. So you can imagine it's very hard to get a Z06, but even harder to get a big wing car. But obviously, I had to take it. And with that, well, let's start the tour of this gorgeous thing.
So that is our nemesis in this series. Would you rather have that than your 458?
No.
Yes, I know I said that in Card Trek, but I was just being a little salty because I never thought I'd be able to get my hands on one because it was so hard. So it was just salty comments, but it's just so ridiculous. Me being a hoopty man, going back to a mid-2000s Escalade, which is like my comfort food, going back and eating your favorite junk food as a kid, that's what these cars feel like to me. Ended up with a Corvette Z06. And obviously this thing had a very spicy MSRP. The color is hypersonic gray, which is obviously gray as a base, but you see a little bit of green, a little bit of bronze. It is so multifaceted and deep and gorgeous. I wouldn't have picked it just looking at photos, but then when you see it in person, oh my God, does it look awesome. Same with the Z06. In person, it does look way different than a normal C8, but it's kind of hard to tell in photos. The width, well, it's over 3 inches wider in the back. You can see the gills here, massive to get into that radiator, but also for the wider rear tire. In the front, you have much bigger grills as well because you can see those massive radiators. They didn't want to make the same mistake as they did with the C7, I imagine, with the overheating issues. This one appears to have a lot of cooling. It also has the carbon ceramic brakes, which is a big part of the Z07 package. But since it's nearly impossible to get that, you can get a lot of the things like the ceramic brakes, a lot of the carbon fiber, and well, you don't get the carbon fiber wheels, which frankly, I'm happy with because the carbon fiber wheels obviously very fragile and probably scary to replace if you can even find one. You look inside and well, you have all the carbon fiber on the inside, which you don't have to worry about breaking obviously, and the two-tone interior, suede inserts with the red. The Bose Performance Series stereo, which you can see the grille has a little bit of an outline of the Corvette emblem there. The side panels, once again, the skull from the Z06, you can see it sort of subtly there. The big speakers. Apparently this is the most powerful stereo Chevrolet has ever had, which you don't need because the exhaust note on this thing, absolutely unreal. As you heard, the quad tip exhaust in the center like the old Z06s, but the noise obviously very Ferrari-like. This one not having the big wing. Well, obviously a big wing would be nice, but this one is pretty beefy in itself, and you see the screws here. It is adjustable. There's two different sizes that you can put on. One is smaller than the other to where you can have different downforce depending on your taste, which is pretty darn cool. And you can also see this is the Z06 convertible, so you have a hardtop much like a 458 Spyder, but the big downside to this is you can never see the engine without taking a lot off. It's kind of like a Porsche Boxster. You have to get this into a service position and then take a panel off inside to see the motor. With the coupes, you can see the amazing 670 horsepower flat plane crank V8, but with this car, it's going to take some doing to even see it, which is kind of sad. But I would say the convertible looks so much nicer, and with the top up, it's hard to distinguish. And this one was opted to have a two-tone roof. So the roof is black like this panel here. When it goes up, it's an all black roof, which I will put up and show you because it is pretty darn fast. Same with these inlets, made these black, which kind of accentuates how big it is. The lower section, not carbon fiber, but then black as well, not body color. I think it was very, very well spec'd. And it is brand new. I took delivery with only 4 miles on it. They were too scared to even drive it to the gas station and risk something happening, so I actually did the first fill up myself. And also, it's ASMR time because I can peel off a lot of things. You see the beautiful 70th anniversary logo right here? Ah, yes. It's also up in the glass as well, which, like a Ferrari 458, to help with wind disturbance, you can move this up and down. The doors pop out, and there's more to peel off down here. Oh, yes. Oh. Yeah. We'll sit down in these seats, which they are very, very comfortable. And there's even a little thing to peel here in the center console. Oh, this one's being a little difficult. Ooh, there we go. Yes. And you see the driver's focus instruments that are vertical instead of horizontal, kind of like an homage to the old Corvettes, like, well, that one behind me, the Nassau Blue 427, with the vertically mounted stereo. Obviously, you have a modern infotainment system in this thing, which does need some plastic peeled off of it. Oh. And same with the instrument cluster. It has a protective cover on it, which we can remove. Ah, yes. There's a little more to peel off here, which I will do off camera because it's getting a little weird, obviously. But look at the show this thing gives you when you close the door. You may not be able to see the engine in the back, but it tells you what it looks like here in the cluster. Look at this. How sweet is that? And then you have this gorgeous carbon fiber steering wheel as well. And look how complex the dash is as far as the carbon fiber and the leather, the different pieces. I mean, way more fancy than anything Italian right now, which is incredible because, well, 15 years ago, they were making fun of Corvettes and GMs for their plasticky interiors like that one. And now they have way, way overcompensated, especially for the price point. This one, obviously a very spicy MSRP at $152,000 almost. The base price of a convertible, $125,850, which it is a lot of money, but this is a lot of car. What's a new mid-engine V8 Ferrari now? $400,000, but obviously options quite expensive. $84.95 for the ceramic brakes, carbon fiber interior trim, $5,000, gas guzzler tax, screw you. Front lift, which is nice to have, obviously. And this one you can program, like if you know you're going to use one spot every single day, the front lift will be programmed to know when you hit that area on the GPS, it goes up automatically. And you can program just about as many places as you like. The carbon flash painted nacelles, $12.95. Painted brake calipers, $6.95. Two-tone seats, $5.95. Obviously, they're getting into Porsche or Ferrari exotic territory with all the things you can do with these. And now Corvette owners can actually say, oh, my car's one of one for a lot of different reasons when they're hanging out and kicking the tires with their New Balance shoes and such. But in the back, you do have a frunk. Once again, you can't see the engine, but a nice deep cavernous one to store golf clubs. They definitely made it big enough for that. And it does have a soft close on this one. But the front, well, not quite as elegant. Definitely a small space in here. But even though it is very, very small, they managed to put in an escape button. I imagine if a toddler gets stuck, they can hit that button, it glows in the dark, and they can get out. You also have these extra brake cooling to install if you plan to track this car, and a few other things. I was talking about the adjustable wing where you can bolt on a different size. Well, here's one blade, there's another blade, and a battery tender. Also, if I'm going to track this car, I do need to add an extra quart of transmission oil. And the thing is, if you track these things, if you drive them every day, Chevy warranties them 3 years, 36,000 miles on the bumper to bumper, and 5 years, 60 on the drivetrain. Obviously, I have to observe a break-in period, but that's so different than other exotics. The McLaren 12C, for example, a car that I had in the past, there were a lot of stipulations with the warranty, which you definitely wanted those cars. If you wanted to track it, I believe you had to have it inspected before and after. Anyway, it was a really complicated process, basically stopping people from tracking the cars. Then I don't remember exactly how it was with the warranty, and I believe that's the stipulation for a lot of automakers when they track cars with a warranty. Chevrolet, they don't care. Just track it, have fun. Observe the break-in period, don't abuse it, which is so dang cool and, well, very brave of them. Obviously, this is a brand new technology, the flat plane crank V8. 670 horsepower, revving to the absolute moon with a dual clutch transmission, but they have the utmost confidence in their product and they're standing behind it, which is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I can't rev it to the moon yet, but I can drive it. So with that, let's go. Oh, I missed one here on the door sill. One more. Oh, okay. Now let's start this thing up.
It just sounds incredible. And then look at the speed of this top operation. It is fast. And you can do it up to 25 miles an hour apparently. I own this car because you all watch these videos, which thank you so much for that. I can't believe it. Ah, let's roll. Well, I'm going to start out in very comfy touring mode with the mag ride. This car floats along the road like it's a luxury land yacht. It is absolutely unbelievable how good the suspension is, this magnetic ride control. But then when you want to dial it up, it becomes a race car immediately. The seats are extremely comfortable, heated, ventilated. The steering wheel, carbon fiber, it's heated. It's actually hot. I don't know of any other car that has a heated carbon fiber steering wheel. Oh, now we're stopping at a light. We can dial it up a little bit to track, but I can't rev this thing over 7,000 RPM because we're in the warm-up for 500 miles. Jeez. I mean, it sounds so much like a Ferrari 458. And now in track mode, it's being much more aggressive with the dual clutch transmission. All right. Let's get it up on the highway, see what the on-ramp does. Unfortunately, a bit of traffic. Wow. Then we gotta shut it down with the carbon ceramics, and absolutely amazing. Corvette has been chasing European exotics for as long as I've been alive, basically, starting with the C4 ZR1, which set a lot of records, had the trick suspension from Ferrari, same development, along with a Lotus-inspired heads, an amazing car. But of course, the first generation Z06 really set a benchmark for track performance when it came to the Corvette. The C6 got even better with the ZR1's, C7 as well. But this C8, the Z06 specifically, went from chasing the European exotics to leaving them in the dust entirely. This is an all-new standard of the world for way less than a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and it's just absolutely awesome and incredible, and shows what Americans can do when you focus on engineering and building the best car and not building to a price point. Obviously, I wish it was a little easier to buy, kind of like when I was working at the Chevy store 15 years ago, where you could order one easily or buy one in stock. But that day and age has ended and will probably never come back. But I got very lucky, obviously. And thank you so much for watching and making purchases like these possible. I never imagined I would ever get a C8 Z06 and to get it accidentally. So stupid. But we do have one more stop to make, and this is going to be really cool. Well, I am one lucky son of a gun, and I thought I would end this video on where things began over here in 1954. So 1 year after the first year of the Corvette, 70 years apart right here, and how far Corvette has come. But I mean, it still is a Corvette. It's so amazing to own a piece of history like this, be the first to own one in town. Now what am I gonna do? It all just happened so fast. Thank you so much for watching.